Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the NIBIRU channel. It is October 29th, 2016, and we've been working on a piece of video footage from the SOHO space telescope that monitors the sun. The video footage starts on October 25th and ends in the latter part of October 28th, clearly showing a very large object orbiting the sun, and it is not one of our known planets. So we have been monitoring this planetary object that we've seen on the SOHO space telescope. We started monitoring this object orbiting the sun in a very fast orbit, a very sharp orbit around the backside of the sun since the 25th of October. As you can clearly see in the time stamp in the lower left-hand corner, make a note of that. This object is coming from the right side of the screen and looping at a very, very sharp angle down behind the sun, and it comes out on the other side. We checked the orbit with solar scope, space scope, whatever you want to call it. We ran the model, and it is not Mars, Mercury, Venus, Jupiter, Saturn, Earth. It's none of our known planets, folks. So I don't care what the debunkers have to say. This object is not any of the known planets that are in our solar system. What you are about to see is absolutely incredible. You are going to see how this object reacts with the sun and how the sun reacts with this object. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that this is NIBIRU, but there is something very odd about this object, the speed of this object, and where it's at. And it takes a very, very sharp turn around the backside of the sun, almost like an airplane. We're going to zoom in here because I want you to see this up close. I want you to see it as close as you possibly can. Now it's going to come around the sun. So this is towards the end of the footage. Here we begin. Watch the reaction of the sun. That coronal discharge was massive. Watch how this object banks left around the backside of the sun and continues in this banking motion as it comes back out. And then it almost levels out. Here it comes again. This is just looped footage, folks. Look at this object. It's not a star. I mean, we've confirmed that. Stars don't orbit our sun like this. Planets do. So we've been on this little investigation now beginning on the 24th of October. And we were lucky to obtain this footage before NASA scrubbed it, got rid of it. Maybe they won't. Maybe they don't care anymore. Maybe they think we don't know what we're looking at. Well, I can tell you this much. That is not a known planet in our solar system. We've double-checked it and triple-checked it. Now, I'm sure there are debunkers out there that are going to say that is Venus, or that is Jupiter, or that is one of our planets. Well, I'm going to tell you, if I could, right to your face, you're a damn liar, because that is not one of our known planets. Now, there's always the opportunity for us to be wrong, because we're human beings. But we have now been watching this footage constantly. Before preparing this video, I sat here and I have stared at this footage for 3 straight hours. Once again, we put it to the solar system scope. We played the model over and over and over again. None of the planets, none of them, are making this orbit in that time frame. Oops, sorry about that. That's in June. We'll start it on October 25th. Once again, We've double checked this over and over and over again. Now, there was some talk, hey, could this be Mercury? Well, we've confirmed it is absolutely not Mercury. Because if you look at the size of that object compared to the size of Mercury and the size of the sun and this crazy orbit and how it literally banks around the backside of the sun so quickly, it's not Jupiter, it's not Venus, it's not the Earth and our moon, it's not Saturn. So what is it? Let's get back to the video. I mean, this is blown up 250 times. And you can clearly see how this object gets near the sun and literally reacts with the sun, and the sun is reacting to this object. And that coronal discharge was massive, massive. And the way that it banked around the backside of the sun is incredible. Once again, the object comes from the right. The sun reacts. Now watch how this object literally starts banking very sharply behind the sun. And it's not behind the sun for a very long period of time. And as it comes back out, it seems to level off in its orbit. And here it comes again. I mean, is this a possibility that what we've captured is the orbit of Planet X, NIBIRU? I mean, we feel 100% this is not one of our planets. Now, you could see back when this planet comes back around here, there seems to be a planet orbiting way, way back here in the distance. And we'll point that out to you. And you could see it. I'll show you right when it gets to that point. You'll see it come around this area. See it? Right there. So the rest of this footage going from today into tomorrow, which will be October 29th, we're going to continue with this footage because we should be able to see this object continuing in its orbit from the 28th all the way through the 29th. But we've been watching this, and we have still photographs taken from SOHO of this object, and it almost has the appearance of a bright star. But stars do not orbit our sun like this. Is it possible that NASA is no longer cloaking and hiding NIBIRU? Is this a possibility that we've actually uncovered this mysterious Planet X orbiting our sun, interacting with our sun, and our sun interacting with that object? I just cannot get over how this object banks so hard to the left, almost like a large plane, and then comes out on the other side, and it seems to level off and continue on in its orbit. Absolutely incredible. So if anyone has any thoughts on this, please, by all means, drop us an email. Let us know what you think. Let us know if you have other ideas or other knowledge, and we'll go from there. I'd like to thank all of our NIBIRU watchers. You guys do a fantastic job. Would also like to thank you for your loyal subscribership. You can continue to email your photographs and your video to NIBIRUPlanetX2016@gmail.com. And don't forget to share our videos with your friends and family members on Facebook. And subscribe to the NIBIRU channel for all of our current updates. And like I always say, keep an eye in the sky. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the NIBIRU channel. It is October 29th, 2016, and we've been working on a piece of video footage from the SOHO space telescope that monitors the sun. The video footage starts on October 25th and ends in the latter part of October 28th, clearly showing a very large object orbiting the sun, and it is not one of our known planets. So we have been monitoring this planetary object that we've seen on the SOHO space telescope. We started monitoring this object orbiting the sun in a very fast orbit, a very sharp orbit around the backside of the sun since the 25th of October. As you can clearly see in the time stamp in the lower left-hand corner, make a note of that. This object is coming from the right side of the screen and looping at a very, very sharp angle down behind the